As part of discussion regarding PIG data flow, we will talk about what are the statements it is providing, what type of operations it is providing built in, and what type of transformations do we have built into the PIG Latin. We will just see the language conventions. Now, I will talk about syntax of various commands which generally we use as part of data flow analysis. Now, it consists of a collection of statements, and statement can be thought of as a single command which we type near the command prompt, right. For example, I want to group the data based on year. This is called as one command. Similarly, I want to see the list of files ls/. So, being in pig shell, you are trying to access the file system commands. So, this is how you give. And statements are generally terminated with a semicolon, just like C, Java and all. And statements are commands using interactive shell, grunt. You need not terminate them. Even if you give, it is not a mistake. And statements that have to be terminated with a semicolon can be split across multiple lines without giving any line continuation character. You can keep on splitting the commands and finally put a semicolon, right. So, you can easily split the program lines into multiple lines. And there are two types of comments, single line commenting and multi-line commenting or block commenting. As I specified in my previous example, before any line, if you try to specify two hyphens, or before any part of the code, if you specify two hyphens, from there till the end of the line, it is treated as a comment. Then C style block commenting is also available. If you see this example, slash star, I have begin and I have end here. Everything between these two combination characters will be treated as a comment, and also you can use that to comment in between one single line of command. If you want to comment something in between, there also you can use. If you see, for example, load the relation, load the another relation, you are joining A and B by $0 first attribute, and then this particular portion should be ignored, and after this you are continuing with the command. So, part of a command line can also be commented using C style commenting, and whatever output you want, that can be done using the dump command. And Pig Latin has a list of keywords, and every keyword has a special meaning because they are built into the language and they cannot be used as the variable names. This is a rule common for every programming language. Keywords of a language can never be used as variables or identifiers. Then some examples of operators or keywords like load, illustrate, expressions like matches, flatten, various functions, so on. And regarding case sensitivity, it has got mixed rules for case sensitivity. Operators and commands like load, flatten, group by, those operators or commands can be written either in uppercase or in lowercase. It is not mandatory to write all the time in uppercase. Just to show you, in my examples I am writing in uppercase, but it is not mandatory, they are not case sensitive. Whereas there are some alias names and user defined function names, those are case sensitive. We know what do we mean by alias names. We use them in SQL also to a table or to a relation. If you want to give another name, we use the aliasing concept. Those aliasing and function names are case sensitive. And Pig Latin program, when you are executing, each statement will be parsed, understood, and if there are any syntax errors or undefined alias names, the interpreter will try to generate the error message. And the interpreter, for every statement execution, it builds a logical plan, and whenever you are trying to make errors and after it is showing the error message, you are going and correcting it, the logical plan of execution will be updated and it will be executing the statements. Now I will show you some of the operators which are built into pig language. So I have just put the thing which is taken from the textbook itself. So if you see which are most frequently used, load statement will be used, dump will be used, filter is used, for each will be used, and we also use join. We can use co-group some of the times, we might use cross for Cartesian product, and we might also use cube wherein you are trying to go for combining or aggregations. And for sorting we might use order. So this is the category and this is the built-in operator which is available in pig. Similarly, pig Latin has some diagnostic operators. Diagnostic means which will show you the status, right? Describe. Describe the schema of a relation. Explain the logical plan. It will show you the execution plan also. Illustrate. It will try to show you the sample plan and execution of the statements. Also, it has got some macros and UDF statements. UDF stands for user defined function statements like register, define, import, so on. Import is for importing a data set. Define, you want to define your own function, define keyword. Register, once you finish your UDF and convert into a jar file, you have to register it into the pig library. So register statement is there. So these are pig Latin commands which you can work with the HDFS system. You can use the cat command to see the contents of a file, cd to change the directory. So various statements, various commands which we see in HDFS system can be used from pig grunt also. These are some more commands. Then expressions. Expression is something which is evaluated to yield a value. We know this definition. Expressions can be used in pig as part of a statement. I will just show you the expressions which are built into the language. Say for example, I want to work with a constant. The constant is called as literal, which you can directly use. If it is a number literal, you can directly use it 1.0. Likewise, if it is a character literal, you can try to use it with single quotes. Similarly, I want to use a field by position. Say for example, you are trying to specify some command line arguments. After the command you give, you try to specify. Say for example, load, the data set name you have given. Load is the command, the data set name will be taken as the first parameter. The index of the parameter starts with 0, so I can use it as $0. So you can access the parameters using dollar and the positional number of the argument. The positional argument value always starts at 0. Similarly, you want to access the field of any data set R, scope resolution with F. R is the relation, scope resolution, field name. So likewise, you can give the arithmetic expressions plus as usual for addition, minus, subtraction, likewise. And unary positive, unary negative are also there. The ternary operator is possible. Case is there. Suppose you want to work with switch case like. So how are we giving? If you see case, the condition, whatever expression you want to check, if its value is 0, then what should I do? Otherwise, what should I do? And it should terminate with end. So if you see the table, this is self-explanatory along with the syntax also. Some more expressions which can be used. So we have comparison with relational operator, Boolean operators are there, and functions, how do we call them? Functions with passing parameters. And how do we flatten? What do you mean by flatten? Say for example, I have nested if. How do I flatten that? How do I remove the nesting? That is called as flattening. Some more data types. If you see what are the built-in data types into pig language, we have Boolean category, numeric category. If you see the maximum value you are trying to use, we have integer, which is 32-bit signed integer, that means 4 byte. Then we have long 8-bit signed integer, float is 32-bit floating point number likewise. And we have text data item, any text item we call it as character array, and binary byte array, temporal which takes care of date and time, temporal. Then complex data items like tuple, bag, map. These are the data types, some of the data types built into the language. Now, whenever you are trying to work with pig, I told you can see the schema of a relation using describe. First of all, what do we mean by schema of a relation? Just see this example. Say for example, you are giving records is equal to load this entire data set as year. What is the data type for year? Integer. Temperature, integer. Quality code is also integer. I have defined this schema. So this schema, only these 3 attributes should be taken from this data set and should be loaded into records. Henceforth, records will be a relation with what schema? There are 3 attributes, all of them are integer. That is the schema of records relation. So whenever you say describe records, it is showing this is the schema of the relation. So whenever you are trying to work with schema, schema of a relation can be specified in 4 ways. First one, a relation in pig may have an associated schema which gives the fields in the relation names and types. This is the first method. All the fields you are extracting will have a name and an associated data type. This is the first one. Now, pig gives us flexibility to specify the schema in multiple ways. I will show the second way. It is possible to omit type declarations completely also. If you see the difference here, records is equal to load the data set. Here also I am taking 3 attributes only, but did I mention the data type? If you observe the previous one, I was mentioning year as integer, temperature as integer, quality as integer. But in the second option, you can omit the data type. Whenever you are omitting the data type, by default it will take it as byte array. For every data type which is missing, it will replace it with the default data type called byte array. This is the second option. First option, for every field you specify the name and data type. Second option, omit all the data types. Third one, you don't need to specify types for every field, partial specification. If you see this one, what did I specify? For year, I did not specify the data type. This is the third variant of specifying the schema. For year, I did not specify the data type. For temperature and quality, I specified. So when I want to see the schema, to whomever we did not specify, what it defaults to? Byte array. Rest of the things, because you have specified, it uses the same data type. This is the third variant. What is the fourth variant? The schema is entirely optional and can be omitted by not specifying at all. See, this is the fourth option. Try to identify the 4 options. First one, you are specifying what is the attribute name, what is the data type. Second one, you are specifying only the field names, not their data types. Third one, partial specification, only to some of the attributes you are specifying the data type, for others you are not specifying. What is the fourth option? Don't specify the schema at all, right? So if you see this one, records is equal to load the data set. Here itself I put the semicolon. What did I omit? I omitted this as clause. So I am not specifying the schema at all. And if you try to see, describe the relation, what it will tell? Schema for the records is unknown. You will get the message, schema is unknown. So pig is providing you with 4 options. Do we have this option in RDBMS or SQL? Can I specify the data type for fields only partial? No. For every attribute you need to specify the data type, the length of it, etc. Pig is giving you the leverage. And in such case, how do I identify year, temperature, quality. Because here I have the attribute names, I can refer record.year, records.temperature, records.quality. How do I refer when I don't specify the field names? In such case, you can refer to them using $0 for the first attribute, $1 for the second attribute, $2 for the third attribute, and so on. And how many attributes will it load? Because you did not specify how many attributes to be loaded, it will load the entire data set with all the attributes. So how do I address them? Using the positional notation. And what will be their data type? Because nothing is specified, the default data type will be byte array. Thank you.